The new tariffs are even worse than expected. The most important deal of the day is Donald Trump's tariff announcement, which are going to cost American consumers somewhere in the ballpark of several $1,000s per year per family. The announcement, which he had branded Liberation Day, had been teased for about 2 months now, but no specifics had been provided, making it nearly impossible for businesses and other countries to plan for it. And what we ended up with is what experts are calling a worst-case scenario. Trump announced a 10% baseline tariff on all imports into the United States, and even higher percentages on countries that run trade surpluses with the United States, which is partly how we can have almost anything we want in the world at our doorsteps in under 24 to 48 hours and at pretty cheap prices. But Americans don't flip out when they're slightly inconvenienced. So I think everyone will be okay without that. Trump also announced a 25% tariff on all car imports to the United States. And by the way, these numbers in this handy little chart here, these are in addition to the existing tariffs that had already been announced. For example, the ones on China, Canada, Mexico, Venezuela, and anyone who imports oil or gas from Venezuela. So while he only announced a 34% tariff on China today, that's on top of the pre-existing 20% tariff, meaning that their true tariff rate is 54%. At the event, Donald said, April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. The stock market immediately dropped, though it closed shortly after Trump's announcement, so it didn't have time to drop to its full potential, I'm assuming. The Nasdaq was down 3% and the Dow dropped 1,000 points. Now, how much will this actually cost us? Hardest hit categories are expected to be food, clothing, energy, and electronics. Companies might absorb some of the costs, but the vast majority will be borne by consumers. According to an analysis from Yale Budget Lab, people with the lowest incomes will be hit the hardest because they spend a higher share of their income, though in terms of absolute dollars, higher income households will be hit harder. For households with average income, the increase in cost is expected to be around $3,800. For households in the top 10th, an average increase of costs of around $9,500 is expected. In reality, that $3,800 represents a higher share of household income than that $9,500 does for the wealthiest 10% of households. However, wealthier people will feel the impact over time as prices on assets, stocks, bonds, and real estate will decline. The bottom line is that this is going to affect everybody because this announcement makes the effective tariff rate on U.S. imports similar to what it was in the 1930s. You know, a time period that you never really want to be likening your economic conditions to. If you believe in history, you may be wondering, can anything be done about this? The Senate is supposed to hold a vote tonight that would symbolically rebuke the Trump administration's tariffs, particularly on Canada. According to reporting, there's going to be 4 Republicans joining the Democrats. You can guess who they are. This is also largely a symbolic vote, but then again, how frequently do they rebuke Trump, even symbolically?